encouragers, you women out there.
Amen.
And so today, I want to say, have you ever looked at your mom and thought, wow? Now, do you think Jesus ever looked at his mom, Mary, and thought, wow? The reason I ask these questions is because of this. Have you ever considered that if you turn the word mom upside down, you get the word wow? I don't think it is purely coincidental, and I don't think the world gives enough credit to moms sometimes. So that is what I want to do today. I want to let all you moms out there know that I believe you are encouraging, inspiring, and definitely wow.
Amen.
Now, if you don't believe what I am saying, I'd like to share some biblical perspectives that show that being a mom is a big wow factor. First off, I'd like to talk about the first mom, Eve. What do you think she thought of when God told her that because she ate of the forbidden fruit, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children. In Genesis 3:16. As a mom who's been through labor 3 times, God definitely made those pains in childbearing very severe. But did Eve really understand what that would mean for her? She had no one who went through pregnancy before her. She had no internet to look up what giving birth to children would feel like. She definitely wows me because she was a mom who probably only saw the reproductive life of the animals around her. She probably had to rely on her husband Adam to help her be her doctor at birth. And she had no advice whatsoever on how to handle raising a child. We would be racing off to our doctors or the emergency room nowadays when our children are sick. But if I reflect on this time for Eve, I don't think it was a bad thing at all being the first mommy. I think through the midst of her pregnancies and childbearing years and beyond, this was the time where she had to rely on God the most because He was the one who could comfort her through the scary moments of pregnancy. He could share the joy of bringing forth and raising new life. I think we cringe when we read about this curse on Eve, but it is also the first time it indicates that this woman was going to be a mama one day, that women were going to be mothers. It is awesome to know that from the beginning, God knew what He was doing when He formed the woman. Secondly, I'd like to talk about Hannah. Every time I think about Hannah in the Bible, I think about reading to my daughter from the Children's Bible Story book that says Hannah had no children. That made her very sad. Hannah was barren. She was one of 2 wives, the other wife being one who very much could have children and used it to flaunt it in the face of Hannah. Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. 1 Samuel 1:67. Can you imagine her distress? Can you imagine this woman thinking about herself as a failure because she could not have children? But she didn't hang on to her grief. She took it and she cried out to the Lord. She even went so far as making a vow saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of her life.
Amen.
1 Samuel 1:11. And so she was given a son, Samuel, and she kept her vow. Wow. I don't know about you, but if I suddenly received the one thing I desperately wanted the most, I would want to keep it. I'd go to God and say, I know I said I'd give it up to you, but I don't know if I can do that now that I have it. But Hannah didn't do that. She knew God delivered her from her despair. She experienced motherhood only by the grace of God, and that was enough for her. She reminds me that there is a faithfulness I need to have before God, because He is the one who will hear my cries, and He is the one who will deliver me from the shames I feel I bear. Lastly, I'd like to talk about Ruth. As we read about her, we know she becomes a mother, but I'd like to bring to light her role as a daughter. Early in her life, she marries and is widowed by one of the sons of Naomi. They are in a land where there is famine, and Naomi has lost her husband and both daughters-in-law to go back to their homes, for she is going back to Bethlehem. But Ruth refuses. She tells Naomi, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, that even death separates you and me." Ruth 1:16-17. Even though she would be going to a land as a stranger and foreigner, she would not leave her mother-in-law. There's a deep-rooted loyalty and love she has for Naomi, and I think that speaks volumes about her. Instead of taking the easy way out and going back home to where she grew up in, she goes to someplace altogether foreign to her. That takes courage. And I believe to have such traits, loyalty, love, and courage, are pieces of womanhood we all have. God called us to have sisters, ones where we can stick together through all the stages of life. And He shows us through Ruth that there is a bond stronger than blood. Wow to Ruth. And wow to all you moms. Wow to all you women. God put us together under this one umbrella as we share the ups and downs of our lives. He showed us through plenty of women in the Bible that being a mom, a woman, is a great and wonderful thing. So take heart and know that God made you, you. Give yourself a pat on the back this day and say, "I'm a mom and I'm wild, because I can do all this through Him who gives me strength."